Good day, listeners. First up, we turn to Libya, where residents of Derna city are protesting the dire handling of the aftermath of a catastrophic flood. On September 11th, 2 dams failed, leaving a quarter of the city in ruins and leading to the tragic loss of over 11,300 lives, with 10,000 people still unaccounted for. The outcry is directed at Aguila Saleh, the Speaker of Libya's eastern-based parliament, for failing to maintain the dams despite repeated warnings. Saleh, who dismissed the flood as an act of God, is now under scrutiny as the administration's prosecutor investigates the disaster. Protesters are now demanding compensation and international oversight of the reconstruction. Yet, fears are rising of a crackdown by authorities under Prime Minister Osama Hamad, who is notorious for suppressing dissent. In an ominous move, journalists are being escorted out of the city, hinting at a potential clampdown. This turmoil underscores the deep-seated issues plaguing Libya, a nation split between rival governments since 2014, with deep-seated nepotism within its administration and a consistent suppression of popular voice. The grim handling of this disaster in Derna only emphasizes the need for urgent reforms and accountability within Libya. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into these issues later in the show. Welcome back to the Hot Topic. I am your host, Emily.
And joining you today is me, David.
Be sure to tune in daily for your dose of hot news topics. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Now, straight to the hot topics. Now, let's delve deeper into the situation in Libya. Protesters in the devastated city of Derna are expressing their indignation over the regional authorities' subpar response to the deadly flood that occurred on September 11th. They're crying out against Aguila Saleh, the Speaker of Libya's eastern-based parliament, demanding accountability and international scrutiny over the reconstruction of their city. Interestingly, it seems the fury of the protesters stems not only from the aftermath of the flood but also from the perceived negligence that led to it. There's mention of a chilling prediction made in 2022 by a civil engineering professor, Abdelwaniz Ashur, warning that the dam's lack of maintenance could lead to a disastrous flood. The flood, exactly as predicted, resulted from the collapse of 2 dams following torrential rains. It obliterated 1/4 of Derna and took over 11,300 lives, with 10,000 people still missing. As if this devastation weren't enough, the survivors must now grapple with the spread of diseases like cholera and the hidden threat of unearthed landmines. While the Eastern Administration's prosecutor has launched an investigation and suspended Derna's mayor, Abdulmunim Al-Gaithi, observers are skeptical about any meaningful change, given the administration's reputation for nepotism. It's quite a situation, isn't it, listener? Such a disaster, not only in terms of the physical destruction but also the unfolding political drama. What are your thoughts? We'd love to hear from you. Leave us a comment, and don't forget to hit that like button if you're finding this content informative. Let's press on. This in-depth report that we're discussing today was covered by Jennifer Hollieyes on a reputable international news site, DW.
I've come across her work before. She provides some insightful pieces. However, as we always emphasize, it's crucial to cross-check information from multiple trusted sources.
Absolutely right. Now, onward with our discussion. It seems the accountability crisis in Libya, as highlighted by Sami Hamdi, a risk expert based in London, is deepening. The lack of public trust led to an act of self-justice when demonstrators set the mayor's house ablaze. It's believed this could be in response to the Eastern Parliament's decision to assign the Reconstruction Fund responsibilities to 3 controversial figures. These figures include the suspended mayor, the parliament speaker, and Saddam Haftar, son of the military general Khalifa Haftar. Amnesty International has reported that forces under Saddam Haftar have committed a catalogue of atrocities against Libyan civilians since 2016.
I have to admit, I hadn't fully considered these consequences. It's a significant point to ponder upon.
Indeed, it is. Further complicating the matter is the fact that these 3 men were previously in charge of a reconstruction fund which mysteriously vanished while achieving nothing. This finding was confirmed by Ghassan Salami, the then head of the UN support mission in Libya, back in 2018. And it doesn't stop there. Libya's systemic corruption problem is highlighted by its dismal ranking in the Corruption Perceptions Index by Transparency International in 2022. They were ranked a lowly 171st out of 180 countries. Quite a grim picture. Now, with Derna under the administration of Prime Minister Osama Hamad, who is backed by General Haftar, the notorious suppressor of dissent, observers have little faith in the protesters' demands being considered politically. If the protests persist, a violent crackdown on demonstrators hasn't been ruled out by observers. The elite are cognizant of the escalating anger and have begun to push back. Quite a complex and volatile situation. Let's step away now for a moment to let this sink in. It seems this volatile situation is further complicated by the presence of on-ground internal security agencies. Wolfram Lacher, a researcher at the German Institute for International and Security Affairs, reported his interview was abruptly terminated by security forces when a person began criticizing Derna's mayor and parliamentary speaker Saleh.
So, they're essentially censoring any form of critical view in the region?
That seems to be the case. There are even reports of journalists being expelled from Derna. A local journalist, Mohammed Elgrich, revealed that the government issued an official order to evacuate all journalists from the city. Medjugorje, the Libya researcher, isn't hopeful that this anger will lead to any meaningful collaboration between rival governments or even an end to the political divide. Since 2014, Libya has essentially been split into two, with the UN-brokered Government of National Unity in the west and Haftar's Libyan National Army in the east. Medjugorje pointed out that if there's one thing Haftar and Libyan politicians are good at, it's suppressing anger, imprisoning protesters, and enduring political storms. A grim outlook for Libyans indeed. We'll take a short break and return with more insights. Thank you for tuning in to Hot Topic today. We've had an insightful discussion about the escalating situation in Libya, and we're grateful you joined us for it. Engage with us, leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications so you never miss an episode. Your support makes all the difference. Share our podcast with your family, friends, and on your social platforms. Let's keep the dialogue going.
Absolutely. And hey, if you've made it this far, why not stick around for more? We've got some interesting things lined up for you. Remember, we're here every day, giving you the lowdown on all the hot topics.
We're excited to have you with us on this journey. Your perspective is critical to our discussions, and we can't wait to hear from you. Looking forward to our next episode.
So, until then, stay in the loop, keep your eyes on the news, our channel's content will amuse. Catch you next time.